Hello, everybody. I've had a few questions from people. They wanted me to talk about some things that I've discussed regarding personal finance, and so this video is going to go over an illustration of some basic principles regarding saving. This is something that I do in the college class that I teach in Excel. It's something that I've shown to coworkers. It's something that I've shown to young people. Universally, people apparently don't get shown this anymore. This was the kind of stuff that we learned when I was young, or at least I feel like we did. And I've always maintained a spreadsheet like this for pretty much most of my life. Now, I can't say necessarily that I stuck with it perfectly, but this is something that I always try to keep track of. So, without further ado, this is an example of some personal savings principles, and then it's going to be a very simple model that we start with, and then as we progress, I'll go ahead and add some complexity to it. But let's start with some columns here: the current year, a person's age, their salary, their savings, which is how much of their salary they're saving, ROI, return on investment, and then we'll factor a total at the end of the year. So let's just take a hypothetical person who graduates college in the year 2016. They are 22 years old. They make $45,000 a year in salary, and then out of that $45,000 a year, they're going to save 10% of it. ROI, the return on investment, they don't have any investment in the first year, so we're going to just, again, simplified models say that there's no ROI, then the total is just going to be the amount they saved. So they saved $45,000 a year, they're doing great. The next year rolls around, and let's see if we can just copy these down a little bit to start with some. Now, it never quite works right. Okay, we'll say this plus 1, copy that over here. And then copy you down. Okay, we're going to leave the salary unchanged, their savings rate unchanged. Return on investment, though, in year 2, they actually had some money the year before, so we're going to say that they made 10% the year before. I get a lot of pushback on this from finance students who say that that's an unrealistic rate of return. I'm not sure where 19-year-old finance students are gaining such wisdom into the ways of the world. I will say that 10% maybe is on the ambitious side, but that is the average rate of return of an S&P 500 indexed fund over a long enough period of time. So granted, past performance is not an indication of future performance, but this has not been unrealistic over the past 100 years or so. I don't know whether it's realistic going forward or not, but nobody else does either. I'm going to say that I'm going to use it. So times 0.1. So they save $450. And then the total, though, in the second year is going to be the previous year's amount of money plus the new savings plus the return on investment. So total is $94.50. Okay, now we've got the second year. We can just copy this until this person turns 67 years old. What's significant about 67, for those of you who are young, that is the first year where you can start collecting what's called your full Social Security retirement benefit. So you don't get a penalty if you wait until you're 67. And if we look down here, they've got $3.5 million. So they actually accumulated a pretty sizable amount of money. Now, again, this is a simplified chart. We haven't factored in inflation. We haven't factored in that this person will probably get some raises. And also, Excel in its infinite wisdom decided to increment their salary. And we don't want that. We just want the salary to stay $45,000. Doesn't really impact things. They make a little over $3.5 million. But the thing to notice here is if we total up how much money they personally put in, out of that $3.5 million, they saved only $200,000. So very little of this $3.5 million is money that this person put in. If we total up the return on investment, then we see it's $3.3 million. So really, they put in $200,000, and then their money did all the rest of the work for them. So out of this $3.5 million, most of it came from the money actually doing the work, not from them making additional contributions. So small savings amounts throughout the course of somebody's career can result in large amounts of money at the end of a person's career. We will factor in what inflation does and a realistic rate of a person making a little bit more money throughout their career. They're probably not going to make the same money in the 46th year of their career than they made in the first year of their career. So we'll go ahead and make this model a little bit more realistic, but more complicated. For this example, though, I just want to illustrate that small amounts of money saved end up being big amounts of money at the end. And even after we factor in inflation, $3.5 million at the end of this person's career is a substantial amount of money.